in 2020, is it a shame? You think that by the time students get to us, they know what this is?
Yeah, no, it's not a shame.
Don't you like you show it and they all know it, and isn't it like that little part of you that's just like, man, it's like, I'm glad you know that.
Yeah.
It's a situational awareness thing that definitely comes involved, but the fact that this starts after Reconstruction, that's what they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
It's like the KKK goes back to, what's their founding member date? 1867, 68.
67.
So we're talking the 1860s, and it's still around, and that's,
and it's come and gone.
Yeah.
Like there's certain lessons that I teach that like
there's ebbs and flows.
that piss me off, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Like it gets my blood going, And we go back to like Lincoln, and I mentioned in one of the earlier videos as like the great what ifs. If Lincoln wasn't assassinated, chances are there's no such thing as the Ku Klux Klan. Because Lincoln would have went to war with Congress, he would have debated, he would have gotten some version of his plan for Reconstruction through. But what happens was Lincoln gets assassinated, Johnson comes into office, and Johnson's like, whee!
Yeah.
Let's just like be super nice to everyone. You lost, slavery's over, and that's about it. And then the radicals come in and like, no, that's not what's going to happen. And the radicals literally drop the hammer on the South.
Right.
Military zones, and like everybody's getting punished. And so it's like, wait a minute, we went from like super lenient to radical Reconstruction. This is our way of fighting back.
I mean, it's like, if you set up the right circumstances in a home or a structure, you will see mold.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to get rid of mold.
Yeah.
Wow, look what I did there.
Lot going on here.
Yeah. All right, so let's delve into this, even though that like this probably grabbed their attention as well. We definitely see some skulls here, some knives, a bayonet.
So let's start with the obvious.
Okay, good.
We know that this is a Ku Klux Klan member. The hood hiding the identity. This man over here represents something known as the White League, another white supremacy group that is founded throughout the South. They kind of blend and become part of the Klan eventually. But again, we don't see his face. That both of these organizations are secretive. And what do they appear to be doing? They're shaking hands. On something called the Lost Cause, which we're going to get really into that at some point. And above them, we see an eagle. The Union as it was. This is a white man's government. And it's almost like the agreement that they're having, that they're reaching, is the terrorizing of the freedmen. Here we see I'm assuming a freedman family, a man.
A better version.
Yeah,
of this?
I kind of zoomed it. Yeah, a man, a woman, and they're holding in their arms a child. That child appears to be either unconscious or dead.
So now I heard Mr. Kogan say terror as he was talking about this, and yes, that means terrorist group. Because I know it's 2020, we all think of Al Qaeda or ISIS or whatever. This is your first domestic terrorist group.
And we're seeing here, like what I'm assuming, again, a puddle of blood.
Possibly, yeah.
A book with letters in it. I'm assuming that's because there's a schoolhouse to the side that if you go back to the
you don't even
it appears like it's in flames. Another over here, we see a person hanging from a tree with another dead person on the ground. These terrorist tactics that the Klan and the White League were using to terrorize African Americans throughout the South. And people are always like, well, why did they dress in sheets? They look like ghosts. Yes, they look like ghosts. It was for a reason. We're at a time, slaves and freedmen were deeply spiritual. Their faith helps them deal.
Keeps them together.
Yeah, their faith,
just like any group.
Right,
really.
and their faith helps them deal with their enslavement.
Yeah.
Because even in the Christian Bible in the Old Testament talks about the Exodus and the freeing of the slaves. Moses freed the Jewish slaves from Egypt, and they go to Israel. So it's like they always relied on their faith to help get them through. Well, part of that faith was a belief in the supernatural. And these tactics that the white supremacy racist groups are going to use to try to scare the African Americans. Scare them to what?
Right.
That's the question here. Scare them
to live their daily lives.
What? Well, what don't they want them doing?
Living voting.
They
working,
don't want them voting.
That's the big thing as well.
And if we click ahead, where are we? Keep going. Where's our Klan letter? I want to read that.
Oh, you want to go with that?
Yeah.
I know you're
Oh,
dying.
here.
Oh, you want to go?
Pulaski 6.
Okay.
The Pulaski 6. First of all, there's 8 of them.
Okay.
It's like, we can't count.
That's a lot of education jokes in today's lesson. A lot.
The Pulaski 6 were a group of men. I believe it's Pulaski, Tennessee, or Kentucky. I forget exactly.
Don't hold me to that.
I forget exactly where it is. They are veterans of the Civil War, Confederate soldiers, and they're looking at the state of what's going on during Reconstruction, and they're angry. And they're known as like the original Klan. Like it is then and there that these members decide we are going to form the Ku Klux Klan. We are going to terrorize African Americans throughout the South. We're going to scare them. We're going to kill them. We're going to lynch them. We're going to do anything and everything in our power to prevent them from rising in society. We want to keep them as low as we possibly can in society. And I actually have a letter here. Let's look. Oh,
this is one of these things where it's like when it came down to begging you and telling you to come to it, it's like, I've been doing this for a while, but if I get another head on this and another set of eyes, I know you're going to find some stuff and we're going to bring it together. I didn't think we'd be doing it here, but this is one of these things where I'm like, you see, this is why I hassled you to do this, because I know you'd find a document.
So
like
we go back one for a second. Yeah. So this is the actual primary source. It's a letter written, I forget the exact year, it's 67, 68, it says it in a second. And it's written to a man named Davy James. And in the version we're going to show you is the actual version with none of the punctuations changed, none of the capitalizations changed. It's written and transcribed.
We modified
exactly,
it to put it onto
exactly
a slide.
how it is.
We modified it and put it on slides. This way it was easier for us to use it as a teachable moment. So,
all right,
here's your moment. Go.
So it's 1868.
Yep.
To James Davy, you, period, must, period, be, comma, a good boy, period, and, period, quit, period, hunting on Sunday and shooting your gun in the night, period. You, not a capital letter, keep people from sleeping, period. I live in a big rock above the ford of the F Creek. I went to Lincoln County during the war. I was killed at Manassas in 1861. I am here now as a locust in the daytime and, period, at night I am a Ku Klux, sent here to look after you and all the rest of the radicals and make you know your place. I have got my eye on you every day, comma, I am at the ford of the creek every evening from sundown till dark. I want to meet you there next Saturday. Tell Platt Madison we have, comma, a box, period, for him and you. We nail all radicals up in boxes and send them away to KKK. There is 200,000 deed men returned to this country to make you and all the rest of the radicals good Democrats and vote right with the white people. You have got it to do or leave this country. No nigger is safe unless he joins the Democratic Club, and you will be safe and have friends. Take heed and govern yourself accordingly, and give all your friends timely warning. Ku Klux Klan.
That hurt to listen to. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
Bravo on that. I mean, that would have. Whew.
First question: was this written by a well-educated individual?
God.
No.
Definitely not.
Like even my first grader knows like where punctuation marks belong at the end of sentences. To James Davy, you must be a good boy and quit hunting on Saturday and shooting your gun in the night. Like it's clearly not written by a well-educated individual.
Absolutely.
And who does it appear is the author of this letter?
Somebody who's a part of this Ku Klux Klan.
But not only that, but how does he describe himself here?
He describes himself. I mean, like I'm getting this superiority complex as well.
During the war, I was killed.
Right, that's the other piece too.
This is written by a ghost.
You see, I thought, okay.
This is written by a ghost. So now you're Davy Jeans. You're receiving this letter. This ghost appears as a locust in the daytime, and at night, and he's going to meet you at the ford of the creek, like where the creek like splits. I think it's called a ford, or where you pass. I forget exactly what the term.
So you wrap your head around this because I remembered that. I'm like, all right, he's a ghost, and then you kept going on, and then my mind went to like,
this is written in 1868. Yet the author of this letter was killed fighting at the Battle of Manassas, the Battle of Bull Run, in 1861.
Yep.
So now you're receiving this letter. You're like, I'm getting a letter from a ghost.
Wow.
And essentially, this ghost, who's trying to terrorize Davy, to do what?
Good boy, quit hunting on Sunday and shoot your gun in the night and keep people from sleeping, and jeez, you get lost with this a lot.
It does.
At night.
But what does he say? What does he say towards the bottom? Where he's saying, if you do this, we're going to leave you alone.
Vote. Yeah. When it came to voting Democrat.
Yep. You better vote Democrat. The Southern Democrats were the ones responsible for slavery, were the ones not responsible for slavery, ones responsible for preserving slavery as long as it was, were the ones responsible for the Southern secession. And the KKK grows as a white supremacy group trying to bring power back to the Democratic Party, the Southern Democratic Party.
So now once you were able to decipher this, this, I don't know, hillbilly, gobbledygook, whatever, you'd probably realize at this point that somebody was intimidating you.
Yeah. We're gonna nail you up in a box. We have boxes for all radicals. What box? A coffin.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna kill you. If you don't vote for the Democrats and the white people, we're not gonna leave you alone, but we will leave you alone. And he does use the word, no nigger is safe unless he joins the Democratic Club. I say to my kids all the time, like, cause they look at me when I say that word. It's like, I don't like saying it.
No.
But it's history.
And it's not.
It's ugly. It's disgusting.
Very ugly.
But it's history, and it's here as a primary source to help drive home the point of the deep-rooted racism and that white supremacists have, not just back then, but even today.
Yeah.
But even today. It's.
This man was elected maybe to the sheriff's office in the county of Lincoln.
Well, no, it was Davy.
Yeah.
Davy Jeems was eventually elected.
Jeez.
Now,
when you're looking at, of course, depending on the source, I mean, here's your early pictures of the KKK. I know that students often go, okay, well, the white, the hood. The hood. I think I got dumber by having to read that thing. The hood and the white costume itself was meant to disguise, and I'm sure, like, depending on the source, there was a symbolism portion to this where this was supposed to mean that they were the white ghosts of the white Confederate ghosts from the Civil War.
Yeah.
Now, when you're looking at the fact that we're looking at this white supremacist group that's still around today, one of the horrible things or legacies, or when we're looking at the success and failures of Reconstruction, is that this group, that this is where they started, they still function today. And when we're looking at some of the sources that we've seen throughout this unit, whether they be political cartoons or newspaper articles, I know you just saw photographs of lynchings that took place that we'll actually get to later on in the year. So when you're looking at the horrible legacy left by that's left over from this era, from the formation of the KKK, this is what it winds up leading to.
Mm-hmm.
And continuing on, and when you're getting into the 1900s,
and like the KKK was actually, the KKK that's around today is actually the third, birth of the Klan. The Klan was born after the Civil War during Reconstruction. That Klan dies out, by the 1870s. It's pretty much gone because they were successful.
Right.
Jim Crow laws get established, segregation gets established, and they're kind of like, all right, we did what we came to do.
The resurgence in the 1920s.
Then in the 1920s, it resurges again, really after World War I.
Right.
Throughout the Roaring '20s, it resurges again there, and then dies out as the Great Depression hits, and then we see the Klan that we still have today was then born out of the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. And
Now,
that's
as a
actually still
group,
the Klan.
you know, when you're looking at freedom of speech, you know, can they go out there and, you know, can they wear what they want? And
Yes.
yeah, there's the freedom of speech portion of it.
I always tell my students it's not illegal to be a racist.
Right. I
It's-
say the same thing.
It just makes you an a-hole.
It's not illegal to be an idiot. However, an idiot. However, when you get into this,
Yeah.
this is where, and we looked at the lynchings. That's where it becomes illegal.
Yeah. When you commit a crime because of your racism,
Right.
we actually have a terminology for this on the books today. It's called
It's
a
not
hate,
hate
crime.
crime, yeah.
And it actually carries a more severe penalty than if I punch Mr. Heeg in the face, I'm committing a crime of assault. You know, but if I punch Mr. Heeg in the face because he's an African American and I'm a racist who hates African Americans, that now becomes a hate crime. So instead of going to jail for 5 years for assault, it might be
Becomes much
7
more
years.
serious.
It might become 7 or 8 years.
But yeah, but this is what it leads to. This is where they become illegal.
Yeah.
As a group, they're allowed to be together and, you know, as
March down the streets.
march down the
Washington,
streets,
DC.
freedom of speech. But when it leads to this is where they become illegal, and this is why they are despised to this day. Oh,
It just
yeah. And this will be a bad day when we get to it.